Hi there, we are continuing with Unit 5.15, a unit review, and this is part 2. So woodblock prints and folding screens. If you were to describe the similarities between these two, you might say, both artworks reflect the Buddhist view of the transience of life and the Shinto desire for harmony with nature. They both exhibit ambiguous space with diagonals that lead the eyes. The woodblock has only 4 flat colors. The screen has bright gold and several other colors. Woodblock prints are reproducible and affordable. Screens are one of a kind and expensive. So if you were describing how architects incorporated both beauty and function in the Hemji Castle, here's what you might say. Architects created functionality in watchtowers and moats. They made the structure beautiful by building peaceful upturned roofs and covering the walls with white plaster. The plaster covering the walls strengthens the building and makes it more resistant to fire. So a few questions here. Which of the following is often the subject of Japanese woodblock prints from the late Edo period? Idyllic landscapes, gods and goddesses, ancient myths, historic battle scenes. We're going to go with idyllic landscapes. Prints from the late Edo period often depict idyllic landscapes, as well as images from Japanese history and theater. Those pleasant subjects represented the peaceful society of the period. Japanese woodblock prints are also called ukiyo-e. What does that term refer to? In the teachings of Buddha, it means long life, or is it an analogy to Chinese paintings in which humans are portrayed as masters over nature? So we know that they never thought humans were masters over nature. It refers to the Buddhist philosophy that the pleasures of life are fleeting and transient. So we are going to go with fleeting and transient, and that is right. Ukiyo-e is a term that means floating world and refers to the Buddhist idea that the pleasures of life are fleeting and transient. Japanese followers of Buddha believed in cherishing the joys of life while they lasted. And lastly, what was a source of inspiration for many Japanese artists? Was it classical Greek artwork, Chinese porcelain paintings, Chinese landscape paintings, or Roman architectural frescoes? We're going to go with Chinese landscape paintings. Many Japanese artists were inspired by landscapes of Buddhist painters from China. They adopted the expressive brushwork of Chinese paintings, but they preferred color over the black ink of Chinese paintings. All right, so if we're looking here, we see the Taj Mahal and the Great Stupa. If we were to talk about some similarities, what might we say? The Great Stupa at Sanchi is a Buddhist shrine and a place of worship that was built over a period of centuries. It consists of an earthen dome surrounded by a fence and 4 gates, or Toranas. Carvings reflect Buddhist beliefs. The Taj Mahal is an Islamic mausoleum and place of worship. It is built of white marble and has onion-shaped domes, minarets, and pointed arches. The Taj Mahal incorporates many architectural features that symbolize Muslim beliefs. And if we were to talk about Mughal Emperor Akbar, the Hamza's rescue by the prophet Elijah, we might say, well, in response to the question, Mughal Emperor Akbar employed more than 100 painters apprenticed to 2 master artists from Persia. Those artists established the naturalistic painting style of the Mughal school. The Mughal artist who painted the manuscript Hamzanama followed a series of conventions or characteristics that gave the entire collection of paintings a beautiful sense of unity. So if we were to talk about what those characteristics were, we would say the meticulously rendered trees, branches, rocks, and flowing water show that the artist carefully observed nature and attempted to depict it accurately. You can even distinguish specific types of trees by their unique trunk patterns and leaf shapes. Rather than following characteristics of previous manuscript artists who depicted flat, linear figures, this artist gave the figures volume and placed them in natural-looking poses. The painting has a sense of energy, as seen in the rolling water from Hamza's active pose.